Alrighty YouTube, it's your boy Zxous and we're back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the NieR collab. Obviously, we still have, I want to say 2 more weeks of the NieR collab or 1 more week of the NieR collab. No, it ends at the end of the month. So yeah, we have 2 more weeks of the NieR collab. So much stuff happening, of course, but we've got into our final point of the NieR collab. Of course, there's other content that is going to be coming out throughout the next 2 weeks, like solo raid, and I believe there's a union raid happening, I think, but those are just, you know, already part of the game. In terms of everything that happened with the NieR collab, we're gonna break that down and talk about my thoughts about it, right? And definitely make sure you guys share your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know your favorite part about the collab and also your worst part about the collab. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe because we're trying to get 7,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So obviously, I think this is a top 3 event of all time in Nikke, guaranteed. I would say it's probably the most hype we've had. Obviously, the half anniversary is there as well, but I think because it's a collab and it was a successful collab, it's why it's the most hype. This was the first event in Nikke to actually get top or best selling rankings, and we did end up getting a multi for that, I believe. I don't think even for anniversary we ended up getting #1 on the best seller list, right? So for that to happen with the NieR collab, which is insane because there's a lot. NieR is not like NieR is not something that's like new or original, right? This game has had collabs with a lot of other games, right? The franchise has had a collab with a lot of other games, right? I mean, I think there's actually a collab. It might be over by now, but there was a collab not even like a month ago on the game Blade Point Naraka, right? There was a NieR collab there. Punishing Grey Raven had a collab, right? So there's so much, like, this franchise has a collab with a lot of stuff. So I don't know, maybe I thought a lot of people would actually maybe just be tired of it, but I think it's just 2B and A2 are just always so hyped no matter what that they just come back to the next game that has a collab, right? Fantastic. Now in terms of the characters, I'm not gonna lie, I'm so happy. Both A2 and 2B are characters who are very good. I can say that they are meta, right? I think I would say they are meta because obviously 2B is now guaranteed going to be a staple on one of your teams for, not even for one of your teams, her own team. She will be a staple for solo raid and union raids, right? Which is very, very good, right? She unlocking a full-blown new team is why I would say she's meta. And then obviously A2, and even in PvP, 2B is very good as well, right? Pretty decent in PvP as well. And then A2 is just a fantastic character everywhere, right? Especially after what we see with the train and how easily she can handle so much of the train's biggest problems, like the missiles and the turrets, and being able to handle all 3 of them at once, right? Just that alone, I feel like makes her have so much value, right? But the character itself is great. Progression when it comes to those battle defense or the defense base or whatever it's called, those events, she's easily going to be one of the best characters. PvP, she's going to be pretty decent. I think after the collab, which says a lot, especially if we're comparing it to the Chainsaw Man collab, I think after the collab, these 2 characters will forever be used, right? That's one thing we didn't really get to see with the Chainsaw Man collab, right? Like Power, for example. Even though we read Power's kit, she does have an insane multiplier on her burst skill, right? This is like 3,000% to the one enemy on level 10, right? But besides that, she even gives herself explosion radius, right? And then she also stacks attack. But the thing about Power is that she's not used because there's so many better characters. There's so many better characters. At the end of the day, Power is just a boss killer, and we have a lot of boss killers. We have Snow White, we have Maxwell, we have Laplace. We have so many boss killers. And then Makima was a very unique character. She's still being used somewhat today in PvP, and if you're still running the quote-unquote train Makima comp. But besides those 2 specific things, she has no real other value, right? You're not using her in like solo raid or union raid. You're not using her in progression because she doesn't really have much value there, right? I feel like you're only really going to use her in, you know, train specifically just to taunt the damage, right? And then also PvP because she's a defender who's perfect in PvP essentially, right? So there's that. But I feel like with A2 and 2B, these characters are unique, right? 2B is the first character in the game I mean, I don't want to say essentially, right? She's like would I say she's the first one too? Kind of. I mean, she is, right? The first one to skill off of max HP, right? I was getting confused with Scarlet and Guillotine, but they don't skill off max HP. They just lose HP and get an attack for the HP they lost, right? It's like, that's the compensation. For every HP you lose, you get the attack buff. That's not the same as 2B. 2B literally gets stronger the higher her HP is. So you can get support from her from attack buffers, because it still will, you know, be useful for her burst skill and her second skill, but also from HP buffers, because that's how she gets her attack. And then A2 being the first character in the game to have a permanent burst skill. And then when you use her burst skill, she essentially has what, an AoE normal attack. Like, I know she's a rocket launcher, but her, especially at level 10 skills, half of the screen can be deleted by this one character, right? So I think these two characters are met. And then another thing that we do love is that A2 ended up getting a sword. I'm glad one of them ended up getting a sword. Of course, I would have loved 2B to get a sword. I mean, she has one here, but like her actual shooting thing is a gun. The sword is attached to the gun, but she actually does have a sword here. I wish she got the sword as well, but she didn't. Let me see what the gun looks like here. Is it the same? It is. Maybe they should have given her a sword somewhere. But I think these two characters being meta, being hype, and also, you know, having so much value to the game is why I think like these characters are going to be used a lot, right? It's not going to be easy to replace these types of characters. Now, are they the best characters in the game? No, but that's fine. Why would we want a collab character to be the best unit in the game for Nikke? Makes no sense, right? Especially since these characters, as of right now, will never come back to the game. I could tell you that with facts behind it. At the time of the recording, I can tell you these characters will never rerun, because they've never reran a character from their own game. So what makes you believe they're going to rerun a collab, right? At this point, I can tell you that with a like straight face, to be honest. But I think what they did was great. Now, if we go to the actual event, right? I think the event, the whole thing is great. The music is good. Obviously, NieR already had perfect OST, so for Nikke to like kind of do the mixing there, perfect, right? I think what I love the most about this event is like this is the first time we've really seen it, but this entire event is NieR themed, right? Every single tab, right? When you click on you know, if I go to challenge mode, right? I want to see if I can get it in here, right? No, I guess not. I want to see if I can get it. But like, yeah, you guys kind of see like the loading screens. It's all NieR based. Everything here is NieR based. When you go into the matches, you're attacking as if you were playing in NieR, right? And what the enemies attack you, it's what the enemies in the actual NieR game use to attack you and deal damage to you. So the fact that you're getting literally your NieR experience from the game in Nikke, actually, not just by using the characters, but fighting enemies, moving around in the area, I think that's what makes it collab insanely good. Now, in terms of the free currency, like the rewards for players and stuff like that, one thing I personally like is that they gave out different costumes, 2 for free and then 2 paid, right? Because me personally, I'm a person who loves the costume gacha, right? I love the fact that when I buy a skin from this event, I don't like the pricing, of course, right? But I do like the fact that when I buy a skin, or when I, you know, purchase the costume gacha and I get the skin, it has more than just the look to it, right? I feel like it has more to it. I'm forever, once this event goes, nobody who doesn't have this skin will say, hey, they have this custom skin for 2B. Probably the most limited character in the game right now, right? Especially since she's a collab. So there's that. New outfit. This is actually an original design outfit as a costume gacha. You can only have gotten this outfit in the game, I believe, if you owned a Nintendo Switch, right? Which is insane. If you owned a Nintendo Switch, which is even more than this, right? So it's crazy. I think I like it a lot, right? I like it a lot. Everything they did, right? From this skin to obviously the A2 skin from the Battle Pass. You get multis from buying these as well. You get multis from the Battle Pass. You get multis from the Costume Gacha. And then obviously to the free skins, right? Like the self-destruction mode. Free-to-play players want just as much as the people who actually care about these paid skins, right? I mean, this is the base skin that you get when you summon for A2 or 2B, right? It's a very good skin. But then this is the free-to-play skin. And so much people are going to love this, right? And then again, for the people who spent money, who people want to fund Nikke and support their favorite character to be, right? I have a friend, his name is Derpy. The man literally doesn't even play Nikke, but he loves this character so much that the moment he came on the game, he didn't hesitate to spend 60 USD to get the skin, right? That's what people need to, if you really love the character, you're going to do that for your character that you love, right? It's just how it is. Right, I love 2B as well, so of course I'm gonna be getting the skin as well. I don't have it right now, but I will be getting it. I'll be getting everything before this all ends. Trust me, because it does last the entire month. You don't have to go for it on day one, and that's another thing I like. This entire event is a full-blown month, so people have time to decide what they want to do. Right, if you want to get the costume gacha event, or if you want to get the costume gacha, you have a month to decide. If you want to get the battle pass, you have a month to decide. If you want to summon for these characters, you have a month to decide. And that's what I love about this collab. I feel like they did it so well, to the point where it's like, you really can't look at this collab and say the collab was mid, right? Because the characters are both good, right? I don't want to, like, you know, bash this other game, but it's funny because a lot of my friends online, right, are from the Grand Cross community, right? And they're in shambles because they had an AOT collab and they fumbled so bad. Like, they had the AOT collab the same time we had the NieR collab. So for like me and my friends, I guess it's like with AOT collab on Grand Cross versus NieR collab on Nikke, and even they all know that we won, right? They know that we won. They are in shambles that the AOT collab over there on Grand Cross flopped, and they know, right? They all play Nikke too, right? They all know that we won here on Nikke. So I think it's just great. I'm just glad that Nikke is like just elevating, man. Nikke, every month they just do and do and do and do more. Of course, there's so much Nikke needs to improve on. Of course, it's not the perfect game. It's not a perfect game. It's not the best gacha game in the world. But they just keep doing stuff to make their players happy and happy and happy. And that's what I think personally, right? Obviously, right before the collab, you also get you could still get it right now. You have the free Modernia skin as well. This is not part of the collab, but to get all this stuff for free before the collab, and then you do get the wallpaper, right? This is a free unique level card. This skin right here is equivalent to this free, the one you have to pay for 2B. This skin right here, the 2B skin, and this Modernia skin are the exact, like, they have the same rarity, same value, I guess. This one is just free, right? But you get all this stuff. I just love the fact that they went crazy with this collab. Now, what they could have done to make it better, maybe added like new stuff in terms of like bosses. We didn't actually get a, you know, NieR type boss, and I felt like that would have been so easy, especially since the first boss you fight in the NieR game is a robot, right? We didn't get that, but the enemies in the game, like the raptors in this game, do shoot the same like type of blast that they do shoot in NieR, which is cool. But I felt like the final boss in the story, maybe it is, right? For all we know, it could be the final boss, could be the first boss you fight in the actual game for like the tutorial type thing, right? So very, very cool there. But I think they snapped. I would say this collab is a 10 out of 10. Of course, why wouldn't I? The characters are good. They're gonna have so much value after. The event is so cool. It's actually like 1-to-1 with the collab, or with the actual game, right? So many free stuff for players who, you know, are free to play, and then obviously there's stuff for the people who just want to spend, right? If you want to spend, spend. If you don't, you still get stuff free to play. The multis, the characters, everything about this collab is insanely good. And I love it, right? Obviously, and also in this collab, we got our first ever non-female character, right? We have a robot. This is a robot, people, right? First ever non-female character, a robot as a playable character, right? So I feel like NieR collab really just elevated, and I'm so glad. I'm really excited to see what the next collab is and how they're going to elevate, because Nikke clearly chooses good collabs. Chainsaw Man is a collab, like, again, the Chainsaw Man characters weren't really that crazy, but Chainsaw Man is not a franchise that collabs with a lot of games, right? To be honest, Nikke is the only game I know that has collabed with Chainsaw Man so far for all these gacha games, right? I think people said there was a Dragon game, but Nikke is the only one that I know of, right? And then obviously that's cool as well, right? It was new, popular, fresh at the time. Very cool. I'm so excited to see what the next collab is, and I just want to see how they elevate from now on, right? We're coming up to the 1 year as well, and just within their first year, there's a reason why Nikke makes bank every month. They're making 20, 30, 40 million dollars every month in general, right? Because they just keep progressing and elevating. So me personally, I think this collab is a 10 out of 10. I love everything about it. No issues with it at all. Realistically, there's just none that I could be like mad about. It's a great collab. So you guys let me know what you think. Your boy Zxous. I love the collab. I'm going for LV3, going for the skins. I'm gonna fund everything I need to do to get everything from this collab before it goes away. Because again, it's so limited and it's just all rare and cool. And Nikke, shit on that Grand Cross game. My friends are gonna hate that, but like we shit on that game. I'm sorry. I love this, bro. Like, oh my gosh, bro. We up. Thank you. Your boy Zxous. I'm out. Peace.